Today we will start the percentile graphs, and previously we have discussed everything about the percentiles, that is percentile ranks, values, all of that stuff. Okay, so today you will see how to make its graph. So first thing is that what can be on the y-axis and what can be on the x-axis. So remember that the class boundaries, not the class limits, but we have to make the class boundaries. So the class boundaries are on the x-axis and the cumulative percentages. This is not cumulative frequency, okay? Cumulative percentages on the y-axis. Now we need to know that how we are going to find the cumulative percentage. So for that, if you remember first that in I guess first video we learned about the relative frequency, you can say frequency. Yeah. So there what we used to do is the frequency of that particular class by total number of values in the data, right, into 100. But here we are discussing about the cumulative percentage, and if you remember that the relative frequency also gives us the percentage of that data value out of all the data values, right? So this cumulative percentage is also giving us the answer in the percentage, but it is for percentiles, right? This cumulative percentage is for percentiles, and through this percentile graph you can also guess the percentile rank. Okay, so the formula is the cumulative frequency of that class over total number of values in total number of values of all the data into 100. Okay, so let's go to the example and make a graph. So construct a percentile graph for the given classes. So here you can see we are already given with the class boundaries, right? If we were only given the class limits, then we have to find the class boundaries ourselves, but here we are given already, and the frequency is also given. Okay, so we have to find the cumulative frequency, because in cumulative percentages we need the cumulative frequency, right? So what are cumulative frequencies? We have already discussed it, that cumulative frequency is the sum of the all preceding frequencies. Okay, like here there is no previous frequency, so it is cumulative frequency, but here you can see in the second class the 62 plus the preceding class 24 gives us 86. Now 86 plus 72 is 158. 158 plus 26 is 184. Sum of all the, you can say the sum of all these preceding frequencies is 184. Okay, so that's how it works. Sorry, I mean the sum of all these previous frequencies. Okay, so now we have to make the you can say the column of the cumulative percentages. So for that, see here how to find them out. Cumulative percentage equals, we have seen that cumulative frequency of that class over total number of values, right? So the cumulative frequency for the first class is, you can see, 24. Total number of values are 200. Okay, so 24 by 200 and 200 gives us 12%, right? We get the answer in percentages. This is cumulative percentage. By the term cumulative, you can remember that here we have to use the cumulative frequency and not the simple frequency over total number of values or total sum of the frequency, that is 200. This is also n. Okay, so here for the second class, this is the cumulative frequency for the second class over total number of values into 100. This is the cumulative frequency for percentage for the second class. Similarly for the other classes also, right? So here we needed two important things, that is we have to know about the cumulative frequency, as well as from this we can get the cumulative percentage. And in order to make the graph, the class boundaries are important. And we have discussed that how to make the class boundaries out of the class limits, that if the data is in decimals, then we subtract 0.05 from lower boundary, lower limit, and 0.05 is added in the upper class limit. Okay, we have discussed this already, but in this case we are already given by them. So now after making this table, we have to go toward the graph. As we discussed that on the x-axis we have the class boundaries, and on the y-axis we have the cumulative percentages. So you can see from this view here, see this is our percentile graph. Here we are given the class boundaries, that is on the x-axis from the first class boundary to the last one, and here from 10 to 100 we have the cumulative percentages. Now you have to see one thing, that you cannot start your this graph from 0, but why I'm starting this from here, and you can see over in the table, see here, okay, here I am not starting my, you can say I'm not marking this 12% on the y-axis for this x-axis 89.5. What I'm saying is that you can see here, this is my 89.5, but here the 12 is where, somewhere here the 12 lies. According to that, the point would be here, right? But I'm not marking over here. Why? Because the rule is, see, only the upper class limits. This is our lower class boundary, this is our upper class boundary, not limit boundary. So we only have to consider the upper class boundaries for the graph. Okay, it doesn't mean that you are not going to mark 89.5 or 104.5 on the graph. You must have to mark all of these. Okay, see, if you don't mark them, but you are still going to get this by this, like, see, this is the upper class boundary for upper boundary for this class, and for this class this is the lower boundary. So definitely by this class or by this class, this 104 is going to be covered. Similarly 119.5, 119.5, this is going to be covered in one way or the other. But the point is, important point is that all of these values will be marked on the x-axis, but the graph, or you can say the cumulative percentages, we will start marking them from the upper class limits. Like 89.5, the graph is at the end, like it is not you can say marking anywhere else. Like here you have seen this, right? 89.5 here, at not at 12 but at here. But for the sake of in the, you can say next, you can say upper class boundary, this is our upper class boundary, I'm marking it on 12. Somewhere over here is 12, right? It is not the exact graph, but it is just going to give you the concept. So you can see that I am marking it on the upper class boundary. You have to remember this is very important actually, otherwise your graph can be wrong. So I have marked this one. Only in the first you can say time you can have trouble, that you may mark 89.5 with 12, but in the next you can say there won't be any trouble. Like for 119.5 we must mark 43. Okay, so see here, for 119.5 we have 43 somewhere over here. So this is there. So all the you can say the next markings are easy, but the very first one is crucial. You have to remember that from where you are going to start marking your graph. Okay, and the percentile graphs also gives you the estimate of the percentile rank. We have discussed how to find the percentile rank in the last video. Here we discussed the formula, that is quite easy. And but here you can see it will not give you the exact answer until your measurements are very accurate. So like here, how to get the percentile rank for this class boundary, like you can draw a line over here and then draw a line over here straight. So whatever lies over here will be the percentile rank. Okay, but better approach is to use the formula for this. The formula is very easy. We have discussed this in detail in the last lecture, you can see from there. So that's it for the percentile graphs. I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you.